2NURFM News for our sponsor Guardian Jewellery, Toronto Town Square and the Esplanade, Warners Bay.
It's 2 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Jacob Dunstan with 2NURFM Hunter News. $60 million has been committed by the state government to curb domestic violence, which is expected to result in 10 available full-time jobs in Newcastle. The package will include the disclosure of offenders and allowing people to know if their partner has a violent history. Maitland MP Jenny Aitchison says attention needs to be placed on the way the justice system handles domestic violence.
We need to get down into some of the conflicts between the family court and the domestic violence courts. So one of Labor's strategies, for example, coming up to the last election was to have a specialised domestic violence court, and that would be a way of actually looking at how domestic violence is treated within the legal system.
Adamstown Motel has been suspended from use by the State Housing Department after it was named in a national inquiry into the ice epidemic. The motel has been called a notorious hotbed of illegal activity, with many long-term residents unemployed and using the drug regularly. Before its suspension, steps had been taken to improve the reputation of the site, which is expected to be fully audited. Newcastle's Trustee and Guardian branch will remain open after the state government agreed to implement a number of recommendations from IPART. The reduced fees will make it easier for people to access services online while also giving eligible pensioners wills and powers of attorney for free. Parliamentary Secretary for the Hunter, Scott MacDonald, says trustworthy service will continue into the future.
I think you will see in the future some of these services available at Service New South Wales, so you'll be able to drop into those one-stop shops and just get some of the more basic work done in the future. But look, the important thing is that trustee service continues, and you can go, if someone dies at estate, that'll be looked after by that independent person, and you know that you'll be treated fairly and equitably.
Salt Ash residents have recently been told they reside in a chemical contamination zone close to Williamtown's Air Force Base. An amended map was revealed by the Environmental Protection Authority last week, indicating the contamination zone had expanded east. The development follows a leak of chemicals from firefighting foam, which was at one point used at the base. Residents are yet to receive a notification from officials, and there is worry as to what side effects the presence of chemicals will have. This Thursday marks the official opening of the Levy Shared Zone for Maitland residents, following the completion of Component 1 of the development. The zone will allow shared access for pedestrians and vehicles, and is the first time since 1988 vehicles have been allowed access in the area. Further improvements are still on the horizon for Component 2 of development, says Maitland Mayor Peter Blackwell.
Stage 1, of course, is comprising of approximately $10 million, which is a lot of money, and of course now we are commencing work on the design phase for Component 2.
The Upper Hunter is set to become one of the locations for a refugee welcome zone to assist in the resettlement of Syrian refugees. The Hunter Zone is part of a federal government commitment to resettle 12,000 refugees across Australia. There has been recent interest in calling for government funding to support the initiative. In finance, the All Ords is down 11 points at 52.24, and $1 Australian dollar is buying 72.23 US cents.
Sport, thanks to our sponsor Warners Bay Sports Club's Melbourne Cup Carnival.
Maitland-raised Australian jockey player Simon Orchard has revealed a long-running battle with mental illness. The Kookaburras champion has detailed in an online blog he's an anxiety sufferer. Orchard is hoping opening up on the issue can help others in similar situations. Newcastle Knights chairman Brian McGuigan says it's likely the club will remain under the NRL's ownership for at least another 3 years. He's saying the Knights' focus is on rebuilding their relationships in the community and improving performances both on and off the field. Lucia Valentina has drawn barrier 20 for Saturday's Group 1 Caulfield Cup in Melbourne. The Chris Lees trained mare is rated at a long shot to win at the odds of $51. And finally, the Newcastle Jets have held a corporate luncheon today for their Jets in business partners to launch the season ahead of Saturday's first home game. The Jets take on the Graham Arnold coach Sydney FC and will be looking to build on their 2-1 win over Wellington in round 1. That's sport. I am going.
2NURFM news time is 2:05.
Cozies understand shopping for a breast form and bra post-surgery.